Hey Gear Facts friends, welcome to my review and first attempt of the Mooer PE-100. It's a handheld multi-effects system, similar in vein to Korg's Pandora series. Very light, metal construction, so probably a little bit more solid than the aforementioned series. Looks like it's got a nice simple operating system, drum rhythms built in, comprehensive multi-effects system. Let's just run through a few patches and see how it sounds. Okay, sounds like we're out of tune, so let's press that tuner button. Playing a baritone guitar here, so my second string is actually the E. Yep, pretty responsive.
A's a little bit low. D was way low. There we go. G flat. And my highest string is a B, because we are in baritone tuning.
Well, that's actually not bad. Okay, big hair. Okay, to edit that, we turn the mode dial, and that takes us through each of the effects in this little chain down here. You can see the lights moving and the display changing. It's a very nice, clear, big display. Very easy to understand what's going on. What I want to do is go straight into distortion and just raise that tone by pressing the value button in. It'll go through each of the parameters. I want to raise that tone nice and high because I found that a bit smudgy and a bit flat. So, and it still is. But let's persevere by continuing on to... Oh, hang on, we're changing the effect type there. Actually, let's do that. Alright, they're all sounding quite similar, so maybe it'd be a good idea to move on to our amp and try a different one. So, it's clean. Yeah, that certainly sounds like your distortion pedal pumped into a clean amp. A pretty good response between the soft and hard notes. Let's tap through until we get to high here and raise that one, because I still want a bit more definition in my sound. Yeah, it's starting to sound pretty good already. Might just cut a little bit of the low as well. Well, I have to say, for only 2 minutes worth of editing, that's a pretty good start. Now, if I turn mode again, we'll go back to the beginning of the chain. PL seems to be our basic patch information where we could rename it and so on, but what I want to do is more effect editing. I could add a wah there. I'm pretty sure I do that just by... No, what I've got to do is select effect on off. So now wah comes on. So I thought the trick would be to press this button here and then wah would come on, but no, it's got a dedicated button for that. Now we're running low on battery, which is why the display is starting to flash, which is brilliant since I'm reviewing this for you, and I really don't want that to happen. But anyway, let's try a few of the other sounds. Okay, I'm finding I can't tolerate that flashing, so I'm going to get a power adapter. Standard 9-volt adapter, and we're back in business. Okay, so it's sounding pretty good, but let's leave the wah off for the moment. What and fuzz? Sounds pretty nice and warm. Metal. Interesting. Yep, I think that works as a metal effect. Acoustic simulator. Alright, it was very soft. Never a particularly interesting effect, the acoustic simulator. If you want acoustic, you've got to get an acoustic guitar, really. Okay, preamp overdrive. This is one I wanted to try. This is the effect that always gives you that little bit of extra punch. Gives you a nice basis for the songs that aren't completely clean but aren't full on distortion either. I might up the drive a little bit, so I've got pretty much everything maxed out here. So it's a pretty good sound, but we've had to max out everything basically to get there. Okay, now here we see some amp simulations. Yeah, that one's nice. I'm going to max out that high, keep going on to mids here. Yeah, I'll keep the mids quite high. And I'm going to reduce the low, which is already quite low. Yeah, I think Mooer's done pretty well here. That's a nice, crunchy, crisp sort of sound. Very nice for your rhythm guitar part. Let's move along a little bit to our modulation section. As you can see, the effect is off again, so I'm just going to switch that on. You'll find that it's easy to overpress this button. It's just a touch sensitive button. You don't have to actually put any downward force. So now we've got some chorus. What else have we got? Flanger. Very deep flanger, so I'll pull back on that depth and the mix and the speed. And I suspect this is going to be quite nice. Touch flanger. So you get nothing when it's light touch, or not much anyway. But if you hit it hard, then the flange sound is a bit more pronounced. Phaser. I'll increase the speed of that. Sounds almost like a univibe. Quite a strong phaser. And a good one, step phaser. So this gives us our harder edges. Let's reduce that speed, but max out the depth. Oops. Max out the depth, and we should hear some nice harsh changes in direction for the sound. Interesting. Tremolo, our old friend. That's a very nice tremolo. Let's speed that up a bit. Make it a little more subtle and a bit slower, but increase that tone. Yeah, that's a good sound. Then we've got our pitch shifter. I've never been very good at handling pitch shifters. I always seem to find myself even more out of key than I normally do with my playing. Alright, so you can use that as a sub-octave as well. Let's max that out. All right, Vibrato, the modulation effects keep on coming. This is going to be pretty intense, so I'm just going to reduce some of these values, maybe to about halfway, and take that speed right down so we don't get overwhelming vibrato. Now obviously vibrato is an effect that it's very easy to overdo, so let's take the depth back, increase the speed. But there's no doubt it is interesting and quite fun to play with. But generally, nice to leave it quite subtle, almost like it's a chorus effect. In fact, that is making a very nice chorus effect. Okay, let's move on. Filter. Okay, so this isn't a touch filter, it's a speed controlled filter. Yep, there's another good one, very usable and not crazily over the top either. It's quite a sensible effect that's going to fit nicely into a chain. A lot of the time when I see the word filter, I usually expect and get things that are quite garish and outrageous. This one's conservative and very usable. Ring modulator. Alright, let's deepen that a little bit. A good test of ring modulators is to see how far or how much response it gives you when you do subtle bends on your strings. So I'm only bending about a step there and I'm getting quite a strong response. And of course if we change frequency, that's going to get even stronger and probably higher. Now again, it's probably something you want to be quite conservative with. It makes a good backup for distortion effects. It really can make it sound quite robotic and really good. So another good one in the modulation chain to experiment with. In fact, I might even guide us back here to our preamp. We'll get away from overdrive and move to something stronger, like tube drive. Yeah, that's great. You can hear that ring modulator working just underneath that tube drive. Now you wouldn't use that for every song of course, but I think it's a good effect in the right place. Just adds a little dimension of crunch. Anyway, let's move back to our modulations and see if there was anything else there. So we were on ring modulation, stutter. Usually just a stronger version of tremolo with no soft edges. It's just a gated signal. And we're back to chorus. Way too much depth there. Mix is about right, about halfway. Very nice creamy chorus, that's great. Let's move on to our delay section here. We've got analog delay. That's certainly a good analog delay. You can hear the treble end getting trimmed off with each echo. What other other kinds of delay have we got? Dynamic delay. Quite subtle, another good one to experiment with. Echo, well, I'm going to guess that this is just a digital delay. No, there's definitely a bit of modulation in that delay. It's nice, I'm not quite sure what that's trying to simulate. Then we've got tape echo. Another vintage style of delay. Here's digital. So an exact reproduction with every echo. And we're back to analog again. Well, I thought all of those delays sounded great, so I'll leave it up to you to choose. Reverb effects. What else have we got for reverbs? Hall. Yeah, hall's always nice and big. Maybe if I reduce that tone a bit. Yeah. Much nicer. Right, it seems like the overall rule with the PE-100 is to be conservative with your effects, unless of course you want to go completely space cadet on the whole thing. Church reverb. Another nice big one. Plate, which is your simulated studio reverb. I'm not sure how well that's coming through on my camera's microphone. And we're back to room again. Okay, so those are your main effects categories there, and there were quite a few to choose from within each category. Let's move on to rhythm now. Okay. They sound pretty good. And there's plenty of good styles there, so lots of usability in the rhythm section, and I'm quite impressed with the sound quality of those rhythms as well. Let's move on. Alright, system settings. Let's see what's in each of these. Okay, so we can choose our line out going to a recording system or to an amp. LCD brightness. Oh, that's nice and easy. Actually, maximum's pretty good for that. Bit of an improvement. LCD M. Okay, so we can invert the display if we want to. Now that's kind of cool as well. Let's keep it the way it was. And then reset, which presumably is a factory reset. Yep, it certainly is. I'll go to no because I made a few changes there. And I do want to explore this a little bit further because that's the PE-100 and it is actually a really good multi-effect system from Mooer. I'm quite impressed with what they've given us in a very small package here. Let's unplug everything and have a bit of a tour. When you're running on batteries, the input is also your master switch, so if we pull that out it's going to go off now, and the batteries will have something left in them there, so that's how you switch on and off. If you're plugged in with 9-volt cable, it'll just be on all the time. So we've seen the front with its operating system, the push button there and the two dials controlling the various parameters, the tuner, the rhythm section. The A, B, C, D are just quick access to presets, just like if you had a multi-effects pedal right in front of you. On the back here, we've got input and output, auxiliary in, which is stereo, and phones, obviously, which is stereo, then our 9-volt power. Here's that rotary master volume I was telling you about a little bit earlier. Batteries go in there on the back, it's just 2 AA's. And that's really pretty much it. You have now seen the Mooer PE-100, which I think is really good. Definitely a contender for Korg's Pandoras. So Korg, better keep an eye on Mooer. Anyway, here are some links to some other things that might interest you. Thanks for liking, commenting, or subscribing. Please do leave a comment if you've got anything you want to ask, or if you've got anything you want to say about the Mooer PE-100, because I always reply to every comment that comes my way. And thanks again for watching Gear Facts. I'll see you on the next one.